Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Eggheads DFS Daily Podcast. We are back after a little bit of a break with the weekend and Martin Luther King Day. It's the 16th of January. We got a 4-game slate. I've got Chris with me as always. What's up, man?
What's going on, dude? How you doing today?
Good, good. Just reviewing this 4-gamer, and I kind of like this slate. I didn't when I opened it up this morning, but I kind of do as I'm going through it, just because it seems like there's some obvious value. Yesterday's day and night slate, I just felt like you were reaching for some plays just to like fill a lineup that you could submit, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
it was
it was
brutal
rough.
a little bit, but I like the slate. More than yesterday's, both of them. So, um, but yeah, so we can jump into it. I guess I don't know if we're gonna start something new or we're gonna kind of just run through this. I mean, I brought up 6 people that we kind of talked about that we're gonna use in cash, probably mix and match. But we're kind of working on a little quick reference guide, kind of something you can just glance at that you can use. Because a lot of times when you're doing lineups and there's news that comes out or whatever might happen, you got 5 or 6 people and then you're down to like 2 positions and you just pick people because it fills your lineup. And hopefully
Yeah,
the guide we do will kind of help out. And outside of the articles and stuff, hopefully the guide will just be a nice little, okay, I've got, 4,000 left at this position. This guy is 3,900 and
yeah,
he's viable, kind of use him that way. So,
yeah.
yeah. So let's jump into it. I've got 6 people pulled up, I believe. Yes, I do. So, all right. So we've got 4 games. We've got T-Wolves, Orlando. We've got Pelicans, Celtics, Mavericks, Nuggets, Suns, Blazers. Um, I guess the game that I kind of think everybody's going to go to here for value is Dallas.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
you've got Barea out, which normally a bench guy that plays 25 minutes wouldn't open up a lot of value for a team. Um,
But he just
the
does
thing
so
is,
much,
though,
you know?
well, his usage is so high when he
Yeah,
plays that someone like Yogi Ferrell and someone like DSJ who are kind of like borderline locks for me tonight in cash game, just because DSJ is going to play his normal 30 minutes, whatever, 35 minutes, whatever it may be. I think Yogi played like 43 minutes the other night when Barea
yeah,
got hurt or something.
yeah. I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah, he played 43 freaking minutes. Like, obviously, I don't see that happening again tonight because I do think they're going to bring in Devin Harris, and they're going to run him at the point or the 2,
yeah,
at least a little bit. Uh, and Dallas has been decent this year, I want to say. Like, everybody thought they were going to be like the Jets, and it's kind of the same situation. And like, when are you guys going to lose every single game? And then they end up and they win games. So, I
yeah. It's a good
I
point.
like this. I like this spot for them just because it's a 4-gamer and just because we need some value of guys who are in good spots. So I don't
Yeah, man. It's
know if you have any comments on that, but
yeah. It seems like it's going to be sort of chalky in the point guard position tonight, right? I mean, everyone's going to kind of like say go to Dallas. I mean, it makes the most sense for cash games just to lock those guys in. I mean, they're all relatively cheap, right? I mean, Yogi Ferrell and Devin Harris. Um, and those guys are, borderline locks, right? I mean, 4,500 and 3,400.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you right there. It's not the sexiest play, I guess, but
no,
it's such, it's a salary relief too. I mean, you're getting those guys, you know, and hopefully some heavy minutes tonight. So
yeah,
how do you feel about these guys being like blowout proof if they end up getting blown out tonight? I mean, they really don't. Rick Carlisle's obviously one of the best coaches in the NBA, but it seems like they got to be sort of blowout proof, right? I mean, who else is going to run the guard, right? I mean, it
yeah.
seems.
No, yeah. I mean, I think, yeah. So I think you worded it kind of right, and I think the way to think about it is like like if you go DSJ and you go Yogi, you know, you're basically playing both point guards, but they
Yeah,
play shooting guard and point guard sometimes. So they'll be on the court together, and the point guard who comes in and plays behind them is gone. So,
Yeah.
like I said, unless they move Devin Harris to the point guard and they're getting beat up, then, I don't see a way. Like, DSJ is going to get his run. He's young, and they like to see him play. So,
Yeah.
and there's been many times this year, man, where Dallas they'll play really, really well, and they'll be up, and then teams will come back, or the opposite, they'll be down, and then they'll come back.
Yeah.
So
They're really well coached.
yeah, Carlisle is one of the best coaches in the NBA.
Yeah.
So I mean, especially with what he's got right now, I mean, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, I guess they're more depth at small forward, power forward, center than they are point guard, shooting guard. So I don't worry about, there's some random guy that comes in that plays shooting guard. I can't even remember his name. But I don't worry about that as much as I worry about, like a Wes Matthews or someone like that, an older guy who, if they're getting blown out, like why even play Wes Matthews? I mean, there's not really a point to do that. But I mean, if you just click on shooting guard, point guard for Dallas right now, so you've got Yogi, Dennis Smith, Harris, and then they've got Matthews at shooting guard eligible. Then after that, you've got Barea, Curry, who are both out, and then Collinsworth, who January 9th, and I don't think he's ever played ever since. I'm sorry. He got waived on the 10th. So they don't even have a third-string point guard other than Devin Harris, and he plays shooting guard a lot of the time. So
that makes it even like because we're always worried about NBA, right? About blowouts lately. It just seems like that's what we sort of run into. One team gets blown out that either we didn't expect or it's a guy we rostered. So I think those guys, like I said, maybe besides West, are probably blowout proof, right? And
so that's a great point because I was just thinking about that. Like, it's not like LeBron James, who's their $100 million player that they don't want to see get hurt in the third quarter because they're down 40. Like, they want to see these guys play. They want to see what happens when they're down 20, when they're down 30. If it happens that way, I don't think Denver blows a lot of people out, but if these teams come out and they shoot well, and by well I mean 40% or something. If they come out and they shoot well, this could be like a 120 to 115 kind of game. If they come out and they both look like shit, I mean, it could be like I think at worst case, someone's going to score 100 and some points. I just don't know if it's going to be 105 to 80 or something. But
that's a good point. But I mean, the damage, is going to be done, with Harris, those guys.
Absolutely.
They got nowhere else to look. So not only the salary relief, it seems like it's a pretty safe floor.
And the one thing on a 4-gamer too, and the one thing I like, and I was going to bring up spreads here in a little bit, but it's like going back to the 29th, man, they scored 128, 116, 122, 124, 96, 114, 115, 101 points a game.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I don't want to, we can go on the other side of the ball because I actually wanted to see what Denver does, but I know they've been in a horrible stretch. But the good thing about Denver, we will omit that the last 3 games have been awful for them, but they're pretty fast paced too, and they're pretty high scoring normally. So, like I said, out of the 4 games, I like this one the most, mainly for DFS purposes, but also, I mean, if they come out and they play well, man, it could be a really fun game to watch.
You just want to make sure you're on the right side of it because ownership is probably going to be pretty high with Farrell and Smith.
It is, I think Yoke is going to be the most uber chalk we've seen in a long time.
So I don't even think. I think you just lock him, and then probably next will be Smith, and then Harris will probably garner the least amount of ownership. But
and I don't have him up here. I'll talk about Devin Harris. So I actually like Devin Harris. I think he's a really good basketball player. He's just. Man, he can be annoying to roster because, God, if he gets the minutes, man, he is he's kind of very similar to Courtney Lee for me. So like he can play 20 minutes and he'll get like 5 DraftKings points. And it's
I was
like
gonna say
on the court for 20 minutes and literally didn't do anything. Like I don't understand how.
He's one of the few guys I've ever actually looked at his like stats, and like minutes don't equal production for him. I mean, at least
Right.
at least this season, which is kind of scary. But
yeah, and I don't even know if he's cash game viable today. I would say he is because he's 3,400.
It's close, man. Close.
But I also don't know. I mean, he could play 20 minutes, or he could maybe play 15 minutes, and they could just play, Matthews and DSJ and Yogi like 40 minutes. I mean, they could do that. I just don't know. They haven't played. So he hasn't played since the 13th. It's like 2 days rest with the travel. So I mean,
he's not a good guy anymore. So
yeah, I mean that's not bad. So I do like it a little bit more there. But yeah, he's viable for cash for me. If I had to make the call, I wouldn't. GPPs, I can see the upside because if he does play 25 minutes and puts up 30, you're looking really good. But I also think he's cash game. So I would probably, if I was going to label him, in the sheet or whatever in the quick guide, I would probably label him almost kind of like a hybrid color because he could be used in cash for 3,400. He could be used in GPP too because he could go 10x on you if he plays.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So he's kind of iffy for me. Right? I'll build a roster and see what happens. But, and then we'll move on to Josh Jackson. So TJ Warren's out again, and Josh Jackson has put up 42 and 33 DraftKings points when TJ Warren is out. So I think you just play him, and that's it.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. His price has gone up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's
rightfully so, man. He's dropping, 6 to 7K price here.
Yeah, it's reflective of his price. That he's playing well. He's still only 4,800. He's going to get a lot of minutes tonight. Another cool thing about him is he's shooting guard and small forward eligible. So a nice little flex right there for you if you're doing this on DraftKings. I think it's another no-brainer. He's going to probably be right there next to Yogi, right, as far as ownership goes. He'll probably fall maybe just
I think so. Yeah,
maybe just a little bit below him. Just because of the name, people, some people may not know who he is really, but no, I think it's a no-brainer. Lock him in. Another silver, $4,800. I mean, this allows you to kind of really get the studs if you want on the slate by getting him in your lineup.
Yeah. We were talking about it earlier. The only reason I don't like a lot of people in this game is because I think the spread was 10 or 11 when I looked this morning.
Yeah.
So there is blowout concern, obviously.
Yeah.
The good news is he's another one of these young guys, man. Like, kind of happened with the Kings yesterday, right? So, I watched this game. I didn't watch this game. I was kind of game casting this game. Dude, they were down, I think, 25 at half to Indy, and I think they were down 30 with like a minute into the third quarter, and he still played 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's what you want, right? I mean, that's what we're sort of looking for.
Yeah.
At this point, and the way that the NBA has been trending, right? It's not trending in it's not a league for veterans when blowouts sort of, happen, right? These guys kind of sit right on the bench and they don't play. So this, like you just said, younger guy, great spot for him. Should be safe. Good floor for his price. So, and if he goes off for
yesterday was a perfect example, dude. Like, there's a couple things that's happened this year in the NBA that to me, I just when it happens now, I'm just like, I'm not even surprised anymore. Zach Randolph did not play coach's decision, and it came out after the game that, we're going to sit a couple old guys every game, here and there.
He went there. He went there to kind of change the culture there to, bring in some veteran leadership and
but if you think about it though, that's
I don't know.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it though. That's almost like a trend. So like Utah was blown out. Utah was getting blown out yesterday, and like Joe Johnson and Ingles and those guys didn't play, but Donovan Mitchell stayed out there and played.
Yeah, so I think you got to look for the younger guys, right? I mean, that's sort of what it seems like.
Yeah, it's just weird. Normally you go the opposite. Normally you go for the old bulls that are proven and like this guy's a workhorse. He's going to play 30 minutes because the coaches trust him. He's going to play. Dude, that's gone. Like that is gone.
they're chalking up losses really quickly.
Yeah, yeah,
If
and
they're down, that's game over.
yeah,
So
yeah, and we'll move on quick. But Cousins. So this is the big debate tonight. Cousins Davis. We had a conversation about going both of them in cash.
yep.
I don't know if I'm going to do that. Just because I don't like rostering two people that are combined like $21,000 in the same game.
Yeah, on the same team.
If it was LeBron and KD and they were playing each other like yesterday, sure, I'm fine with it. But them being on the same team, and I know that I know that one of them went for 60 yesterday or 83. I'm freaking sorry. Good Lord, I don't want. Sorry, Anthony Davis, 60.
Yeah, 80.
One went for 83, and the other one went for 61.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen all the time.
No.
Most of the time, it's Davis gets 35,
Yeah.
and Cousins gets 55.
Yeah.
Or Cousins gets 47,
Yeah.
46 on the 8th, and Davis gets, 48. So, I mean, I don't know. You can do it. I'm not going to. I don't think.
Yeah.
But I like both of them. I think if you find a good combination and you have $300 left over, I'd probably go Cousins.
Yeah.
If you get everybody you want into your lineup and it fits perfectly with Anthony Davis and you don't have the money to go to Cousins, I'm perfectly okay with playing Anthony Davis.
Yeah. So,
I
yeah, you kind of nailed that on the head, right? Like being like, if this game is a blowout, these guys are done. I just feel like if this game gets out of hand where Boston has a pretty big lead, there's no way, right? The Pelicans get back in this game. Boston's just too good defensively. Um, they're just so solid, right, at every position right now that if it's a blowout, these guys may not hit value. If you got both in your lineup, yeah, you're probably sunk, right? So that's the decision you got to make. If the Pelicans keep it close and the game is, a high scoring game, you're probably going to be on the right side of it, right? It's going to be because of Davis and Cousins that this game is
and
close.
in any other
scoring,
night when there's 10 games, I would say hell no, don't do that.
Yeah,
But there's only
but,
4. So I think it
yeah.
makes it a little tougher. And we were talking offline, but Cousins is probably going to get Baines, so he has the better matchup really on paper. But Davis has like abused Al Horford in the past, averaging like 60 some Draftkings points a games against him.
Yeah.
So although I prefer Anthony Davis because I guess of his skill set and like his consistency and history, I like Cousins more just because of his matchup and
what he's done in the past.
And here's the tough part. I think they're both going to be 30% owned or higher.
Yeah, for sure.
So really, honestly, what I would do, and I was doing this earlier, right? So I was leaving both of them in a lineup.
Yeah.
And then I was picking like, if I locked these other 4 guys in, right, and I threw in a center or I moved one of them to center, right? My decision basically came down to, okay, if I lose $300, can I go from we were talking about earlier, can I go from a Dragon Bender to a Aminu or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if I'm at 46 and I want, and I'm worried about Bender, but I have Cousins in my line, then go Davis and then have the money to go Aminu or Matthews, I really think it just depends what risk level you want to take and who you want to play. I don't think there's any wrong way. I really don't. I just think the way it's going, I'm probably going to end up with Cousins over Davis because Anthony Davis doesn't have a good track record with me getting hurt all the time.
Yeah.
And that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably not going to roster both of them. I know that hurts your feelings, but I'm probably not.
Yeah, right now I got both of them, but I could see me coming off that. But I just feel like if this game somehow is close, what's kind of scares me though? I don't know off the top of my head what Boston's home and road splits are, but this game's in Boston too, man, which just makes it even more likely that Boston could blow this team out, right? I mean, if it is a blowout, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be, but if it is, it'd probably be more likely on Boston's home floor, where it is tonight. But I can see not playing. One of them. I think you need one of them though. So I mean, you just got to figure out kind of which one you need. I'm like you. Right now, I am actually leaning Anthony Davis. I know the injury thing kind of, scares people away, but dude, he's just been on a tear. His price is down. He's the cheaper of the two. But I don't think he need much salary relief tonight, so I think you're just going to go by preference. But
Yeah,
this,
I almost
this,
wish he was like just.
yeah,
I wish he
know,
was like, like it's funny, but I do. And just an FYI, I was looking it up. The total for that is 214.5 in Boston.
Oh, really?
So yes, so it's
Yeah.
not that.
Yeah.
Game actually has the second highest total, I believe, outside of Phoenix, Portland, I think.
Yeah. No, I think it's.
So.
I mean, you got to have one of them, I think, because the ownership's going to be so high.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
I don't think it's too crazy to go both. But I see your point there, and if it is a blowout, you can pack it in because
you're dead.
Won't play in the blowout. So
Yeah. You're dead if that happens.
You could be dead on the wrong
side
of things, paying that much for
yeah.
guy.
Yeah. And then the last guy we wanted to mention was Jamal Murray. I think this is more just about maybe matchup and pace of play. I'm actually not huge on this kid. I mean, I know he plays 30 minutes a game. Last game they got absolutely destroyed, so he didn't play. But Dallas is like top 10 worst against point guards. Murray can shoot a lot. I think him and DSJ is going to be a fun matchup to watch because they're both young. I think Murray's a sophomore in the NBA. So, I like to play here mainly because I like the game more than I do necessarily Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
Does that makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the kid. I think he's kind of not been on a good run as of late, and he's kind of been really inconsistent over this last almost 10 games. I mean, he's kind of hits value, doesn't hit value, hits value, doesn't hit value. Kind of goes back and forth, just like you expect out of a young kid, right? So, but he's at the pace of play, the matchup. I like him.
And I think the biggest thing too, I just noticed, I was looking at it earlier, it's the lowest price he's had in like a month.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say his price is kind of, has gone down over the last month, which is, you can that's the truth. Another reason maybe roster him right now. I don't think he's a cash game like lock by any means, but I mean, I like him. I think he's got a good floor, good matchup, good pace. And I think he's going to garnish some pretty heavy ownership. I think, for a 4-game slate, he could be right around 20%.
I think it'll be higher. I think it'll be around 30, to be honest with you.
You think so? Yeah. I mean,
I just don't know. I just don't know in that range. I don't know who you'd pivot to, I mean, you could play Barton for the upside, but he doesn't. Barton, I don't know. He's so Jekyll and Hyde.
There's not.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of different ways you can go with that one. I think we just have him up because I think he's going to be popular and I think he's in a good spot.
He'll be popular tonight too.
But we'll see. Some other plays we were tinkering with, and I can bring up the quick ref guide just to kind of show what we're planning on doing here. So we. Basically, a lot of times when you're building a lineup, I mentioned it earlier, you're looking at a guy, you're looking at this guy, and you don't know what the hell to do. So basically, we're just going to kind of come up with like a quick ref guide and just something you can look at to just kind of, like if you have, let's say, 5,000 left, you can look at this and say, oh, this guy fits, he's a cash game player. Or I've got 7,000 left, and I'm doing a GPP like Elf Payton could throw in, So I think this is something we're going to do every day. I think we're going to work on it, and I think these are helpful because a lot of times, like I said, you can read articles, you can listen to podcasts like ours, and you can get a lot of good, valuable information. But when it comes down to it, you can't play everybody that they mention in the podcast or in the articles, right? So I think this just makes it a little easier. I think this is something that we'll do every day, and we'll try to do our best with it of categorizing everybody and not mention everybody on the slate either. I think that's how we're going to differentiate ourselves, right? We're gonna pick guys that we actually like, that we actually think could fit into this tier. We were talking about it. The Pelicans are worst against point guards, like second worst, I think. So I love Kyrie Irving tonight. I think at his price, I think he can go for 50. I don't like him in cash per se, mainly because I like 4 other guards over him.
Yeah.
But he's one of my GPP plays outside of him and Elf Payton, who gets Jeff Teague. But we only talked about 5 people in the podcast. I just brought up the quick ref guide, and this isn't final. I was just working on this before, but this is 12 guys listed right here that are viable that you could use. So just so I just want to say, just because we don't mention someone doesn't mean they're not viable, right?
Hey, can you still have the Draftkings page up?
Oh, do I really?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking up a player real fast, and I looked over.
You were fine.
No,
I'm gonna do it right now because apparently I'm just sitting here talking to myself. There we go. All right, back to it. You heard the explanation. So yeah. This is it, man. This is the way we're going to do it. We're going to break it down every day. We're going to list some, GPP plays in red. We're going to do just like a stoplight, man. Green means go. Yellow means, orange means okay. And then red means, this guy could go for 5X. This guy could go for 2X. We won't list every single player, like I said, but it's a good thing, just kind of a snapshot to look at. Like if you're looking for a player to fit, this is the kind of guy we'd recommend. So, I think we're going to try to do that every day. I think we talked about that, and I think it'll be helpful. I've always found those quick ref guides and crib sheets and stuff to be helpful. Like whether I'm working my regular job or anything, man. I mean, shit, I buy Girl Scout cookies and they give me a quick sheet guide, like a crib sheet, and I'll look at it and just kind of like break it down and be like, oh man, these look good. This is this price. So I think something to glance at and look at, man, is just easier for everyone. So, I'll post that. I'll post that on Twitter today. And then we'll, we almost we're working on the site. We're getting close to that. So,
we hopefully launching here pretty soon. I mean, that's
yeah. We've had some really good run. Really we haven't even had our go to market strategy as far as posting stuff, going out there and stuff. We're kind of plotting it out, I guess. We had a really good weekend of PGA, really good weekend of hockey. Basketball sucked yesterday, but you had a good GPP in basketball, I believe.
It did okay. And NBA PGA was a big sweat. We had a good tournament going. I had a chance to kind of win it. The first couple of days, so finished really high. So it was it's been a good week. You've been on a really good run as of late. I know you don't really kind of brag about it or not, but
I do not. No. Yeah.
Well,
I'm not a bragging type, but
But you've been on a really good run. So it's been man, it's been good. I mean, and we just want to keep it up and hopefully provide you guys some good information and help you build lineups, going forward. That's our goal. So
I think the ultimate goal is just to help everybody get a little better and just understand how to play DFS. We'll get after it tonight. I'll post this cheat sheet, quick ref guide, and then it should be a good night, man. I like the slate, I like where it's going, and I like who we got. So otherwise, good luck tonight, and I'll talk to you after this, I'm sure. So
all right, man, sounds good. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Yep, take care.
Yep.
Bye.